evening, everyone. I'm your host, comedian, magician, Danny Windsor. But it's all tricks aside, because tonight we're turning the paranormal into the normal. Join me as we explore the gray areas of reality. We're going to talk all things paranormal, UFOs, ghosts, cryptids, and aliens, and see how it's all connected. This podcast is brought to you by the Experiencer Support Association, and we are live. So if you're an experiencer yourself, or you're just plain nosy, be sure to send me your question and subscribe to the podcast. Now, get ready, because it's going to get deep. No, really, we're going to go way out there, because this is Beyond the Tinfoil Hat. What's happening, paranormal junkies? And welcome to Beyond the Tinfoil Hat, and I'm your host, Danny Whitson. Guys, we are broadcasting live from the E-United Public Radio Network and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network on 105.3 FM on the Gulf Coast and 107.7 FM in New Orleans. Guys, we got a fantastic show lined up for you. First, though, I want to give a big shout out to our guy, Alex with Tessa. He has a brand new article. You need to run over there as soon as you can at the experiencersupport.org network and read it. Check it out. It's about Sasquatch. Yes, something that we don't get to talk about much anymore on this show, but you definitely do want to go check it out. That's Alex's article there at experiencersupport.org. Also, Patreon, like always, heed the world. Go over there, show us some love. And if you haven't done so yet, be sure to check out Tessa's very own Ryan Stacy's podcast that airs on Mondays at 5 o'clock. Ryan really breaks down investigations, gets down there, gets in it real good, explains a lot of stuff to you. All right. I'm excited about this guest. Really, I am. This guest just isn't a guest, but this guest is like a longtime viewer. And this guest is actually the first person Ryan ever actually interviewed. So I'm very excited to talk to her. She's from Windsor, Ontario, okay? And she's experienced Greys, Reptilians, and the Nordics, all right? So I can't wait to ask some really cool questions, and I can't wait to see your questions pop up on here as well. But let's get a big welcome for Lisa Savoy. I think I said that right, Lisa.
Yes, you did.
All right, I got it. That's the one thing I was worried about. I was like, shoot, I hope I don't mispronounce her name.
No, you got it.
Awesome. Well, Lisa, this is so cool. First of all, it's so cool having somebody who supports and views the show to be a guest as well. And then also, like, you're like number one. You're number one on the experiencer list here. But I tell you what, you know, even though I'm sure some viewers probably know who you are, but if you don't mind to care to introduce yourself a little better than what I did.
Okay. My name is Lisa Savoy. I'm a lifelong experiencer. I have been ever since at the age of 3.5. And I still am today. And my first encounters was with the Greys. And then after that, it was with the Men in Black and the Reptilians together. Then after that, I made contact with a Nordic named Angie.
Let me ask you real quick, Lisa, because, okay, your first experience, and this is what I tend to hear, like a lot of people's first experiences are as a child, you know, and it seems like it's always the Greys, you know what I mean? That's what it seems like as a child. Now, I'm sure there's probably been some other experiences, but about how old were you with your first experience with the Greys that you can remember?
3.5 in there. The reason why I say that, I never said it before, because I remember it was during the summer, and I remember thinking how my birthday's going to be in fall, and that's when I turned 4, so that's why I see 3.5.
Okay.
3.5 years.
So was this a memory that you always carried as a child, or is it something that you had to go back and be like, put 2 and 2 together?
No, it's a memory I always had. Like, I had regression done before, like 7 times. It's a lot. But all the memories I recalled during my regression, they're the memories, like I told her the memories I had, and it was the exact same thing as the regression. So I guess I never knew at that time. I guess I'm rare because I remember everything about regression. Like the memories I have till today are the same memories I had as a child.
And see, that's so. And how long? You said it started when you was 3. Was this something that was it at night they came visit you? Was it? How was those?
Well, like my experience with the Greys has always been in the evening. Like it'll be like in the evening, like between 12 and 1 in there. And my parents were always in bed sleeping at that time. And like I remember my first experience, I was lying down, something woke me up. So I sat up and I noticed how the wall was turning pitch black. I mean, black, like to the point there's no wall there. Like just the wall just straight across from me. And then I noticed the room temperature changed. Like we had no air conditioning back then. I remember the temperature dropped. And I noticed these little beings coming from the wall. So I actually stood up to greet them. So I got up. And I noticed that they were short, like 3.5 feet tall. Had large black eyes. Their eyes never blinked. And they had no hair. And they had like 2 holes for a nose, a slit for a mouth. Their heads were bigger. And then their color, they're like a gray color. No hair, no ears. And it's like, I wasn't afraid of them or anything. Like I was curious more than anything else. I was a very curious child. And I started talking to one of them. Like I asked them how they got in my room. You know, like who comes to the walls. And I asked them where they're from. I got no response. I asked me how to name. No response. I told my name. Still silence. I even offered a handshake with one of them. I stuck my hand out, you know, like a friend handshake. He just looks down at my hand. He looks up at me from head to toe. And the atmosphere felt strange. It just didn't feel right. And I remember like there's A's in there. Half of them went way over to the left side of me. The other half went over to the right side of me. And as I'm standing there, all of a sudden I can feel like an energy going, invisible energy, like going all the way around me and going through me. And I couldn't move. I couldn't twitch a finger, nothing. I was paralyzed and I couldn't even move my eyes. My eyes were just like stiff. I couldn't budge anything. And next thing I know, at that time, I was being lifted off the floor, like floating right up off the floor and going towards the wall. I was terrified and I couldn't move. I was fighting to the point trying to move. I couldn't actually cause pain from head to toe because I was just trying to move and I couldn't. I was causing pain. And I was terrified. I couldn't scream. And when I tried to scream, I would feel my chest would hurt. So I just couldn't breathe in or out. And since I couldn't scream, I started screaming for my mom in my mind. Like in my mind, I was screaming, "Mommy, Mommy," as hard as I can. And as I was about to go through the wall, I passed out. I blacked out like that.
Now,
happened multiple times.
Did you tell your parents? Did you ever come forward with the story as a child?
My mom just told me I was dreaming. I was having bad dreams.
Yeah.
And when you're a kid, it's frustrating. I mean, like, you know, you're awake. Even people say to me, maybe you're just dreaming. But I mean, like, there's at times I get to go to the bathroom and I get stopped by them. So, I mean.
So you would be, as a child, you would have memories of going to the bathroom and you would see the Greys?
Oh, as I get up, they'd be there.
Wow.
So, I mean, you know, when you get up during the night, you go to the washroom, you know, you're not dreaming. It's the same thing. Like you get up and you see these beings there, they're there.
And
And
I'll
they're
be
very
honest with you,
real.
Lisa, as a child, that would scare me to death.
Mm,
You know, I mean, it scares most adults, you know, terrifies most adults. But as a child, me, I was just a big chicken, though, as a kid, though.
yeah.
So, but it would scare me to death, you know.
I was quite old. I still am today.
Did you have siblings?
I do have a family. Yeah. I mean, I had a sister and 3 brothers, but when I first started seeing the Greys at that time, I only had a sister, and she was in the same room with me. And I don't remember her getting up.
So did they never had any experiences of their own?
My sister, she didn't say anything, but later on in the future, my brothers are older, they did recall seeing stuff that I've
Wow.
seen as well. And I never knew at that time they were seeing it as well.
But you guys didn't talk about it, but
Yeah.
exactly. But most people don't. For some reason, most people keep these experiences to themselves for a long, long, long time.
It's not easy. It is not easy.
I couldn't even imagine that. I couldn't
No.
imagine that. And you said, but this is going on with the Gray. I mean, it went on with the Grays. I mean, was there a point in time in your life to where it stopped? Something cut it off with the Grays?
But here for a while, in Windsor for a while. And the thing I really found interesting for a while there, it was later, was it early? I think it was early this year. Or was it late last year? Sun was in there anyways. I remember one night I was lying in bed on my right side and I turned my head over a little bit to the left before I rolled over, and I thought I seen something. I go, what is that? So I went over on my back, and my back wall, like on the side there, like on this, my right, you know, I rolled over to my left side there. I noticed this tall figure wearing a black hooded cloak stepped out from the wall. And I noticed as they stepped up from the wall, like I usually see Greys, right? They're only 3.5, but this one was like 8 to 9 feet tall. They were tall.
Well, that's another common one. Yeah. There's small ones and then there's tall ones.
That's the first time I've ever seen a tall one, though, was that time. And I noticed too, like usually I see the Greys, right? They're coming at me straight on, like forward. But this one came out from the sidewalk, and he stepped up from the wall. I noticed something I didn't see before. He had like a stringy misty coming out from behind him. And because I got the side view of him, but as he stepped out, he turned and faced towards me. And his eyes are even different. Like usually my Greys, their eyes aren't slanty. This one's eyes a little bit slanted up a little bit. And they weren't as wide, like maybe not as wide like as the small Greys, like little smaller, their eyes aren't as wide, you know what I mean? And I can see the features on its face better because it's bigger. Like I can see like the rings around the eyes, and I can see like a little crease down underneath the nose. And like it's the same as the other Greys, but the eyes, they were slanted.
At what age were you whenever you realized what you, I mean, because I'm sure, you know, as a very young child, you knew you were seeing something, but you didn't know exactly what it was. What age did you realize, like, hey, where you realized what it was you actually were seeing?
Oh, well, for a while they were living in Cambridge, Ontario, when it happened. And it wasn't until I think I was maybe 8 or 9 we moved to New Brunswick. And I remember one time, it was before supper hour, I went down the living room, the TV was on. And I noticed there's this people talk about the stuff they're experiencing. And it turned out they were seeing the same thing I saw, the Greys. And it horrified me. It actually gave me a sick feeling in my stomach. Because people told me for years they're only dreams. I knew they weren't dreams. And I knew too, like I seen other kids. I was with other kids my age during my experiences. So I knew I wasn't the only one. But when I saw that on TV, that's when it really hit me. Because I never heard of aliens. I always call them the little people. That's what I call the Greys. But when I saw it on TV, it just struck me terrible. I was shocked. I didn't know what to think.
That had to be. I mean, but when you see something that you know that you've seen before. We got a question here from Liv Light.
Yes.
Big shout out to Liv. Also Liv said, Canada in the house, baby. Canada. What up?
Yeah.
Here we go. Liv's always got the awesome questions. You know,
Yes,
she
she
does.
does.
Let's see. She says, hi, Lisa. Did they emerge from the wall like a portal? Was there an odor or a temperature change?
Okay. I always believed it was like a portal or something. Like, I don't really know, but it's just something I believe. Like, I figure, like, how else could they come into my room, you know? And for odor, only race that I encountered had an odor is the reptilians. They have like a burnt sweat or something like that, like a funny scent. But they're the only, yeah.
That's interesting because I hear a lot of stories about the Greys. I hear about the Greys in encounter with children, you know, at night. I don't understand what's going on there, you know, but I do hear a lot of those same stories from people. Now, you were growing up as a child, having these experiences, and I think was there ever one time that you did go to your parents and did they ever believe you, or is it something that you just kept in all the way to your adulthood and you just kind of let that train go, let that ship sail?
Well, how my dad found out, it was a while ago. I was living in Winnipeg. My two boys were small. They're only young. And it was one summer, my husband was getting ready to go away for he used to be in the military. He retired 9 years ago. And one time he was getting ready to go away for like 6 months. He'd done it quite frequently. And in the morning, I would wake up and he would see these horrible marks on my skin. Like something broke into my skin, like something sharp went to my skin. And I had these bruises. And the weird thing was, like I would have them on both legs on the exact same spot in each leg. I wake up with one or two of those in each leg. And my husband goes, how are you getting those? Okay, like this is maybe a couple of weeks before he hit out. He's going, I can't remember where he was, somewhere overseas. But then a few nights again before he went away, I wake up again with these on me, like this time not on my legs, but I had them on my arms. And again, he's gone, how are you getting those? It's really upsetting him. And I said, don't worry about it. So he goes away and he calls me and I go, I'll talk to him on the phone. He's overseas. And I said, by the way, remember those bruises I'm getting? I'm still getting those. And man, my husband just lost it. Oh, he just freaked out. He goes, how are you getting those, Lisa? How are you getting those? Why are they there? And he's just really upset. And so as time passes, one morning I wake up and I feel burning on my knees. I mean, a horrible burning sensation on my knees. So I reach in my right hand, touch my right knee, and I thought my skin was coming off. And I go, what's going on here? Now what? What happened to me? I pull off my sheets, and you wouldn't believe the burns on my knees. No lie.
Burns on your knees.
Yes. Black burns on my knees. And then that was not the only thing I had. I had bruise marks on my bruise marks on my breast, on my lower stomach. I had a bruise upper side of my leg, inside my leg, 2 bruises, big ones. They're black on each leg. And up in my upper thigh, like high my legs there, I had 3 small black bruises on each side.
Well, I got to be honest with you, Lisa. No wonder your husband was freaking out. He was like, is she being abducted or is she doing some freaky deakiness? What's going on here? Probably really freaked him out.
But the thing was, no, he didn't believe it was me. You can tell that. But so my poor son saw this, and I thought my son's just going to lose it. And my husband would call on the phone, and my son would get the phone and start talking to my dad. I mean, at this point, I was feeling sick. I was feeling nauseated. I couldn't eat anything. I can drink a thing of water for 3 hours, not go to the bathroom once.
Oh my God! Well,
I was feeling sick as a dog. 666.
We do have a question, and you're kind of already answering this, but Liv did pop a question in here. When did you discuss your experience with your husband? So how long into, I guess, your relationship before you kind of sprung the news onto him? Or was it just that these obvious signs?
Well, he figured there's something going on. And to be honest, he didn't really think of me being experienced not till after he moved into Windsor. Because before I heard from Ryan, I did the ERT thing with MUFON, like for experiencers, and I sent a thing into them. And not too long after that, I got a mail from Ryan. And my husband found the email on the computer.
Okay.
It didn't freak him out. I still remember Winnipeg, and he got really silent, and his face turned a little bit pale. You know. Yeah.
So is he a believer himself?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that helps. That absolutely helps, and it's very helpful that you've got support. Not everybody has that, you know.
No. Some people had a hard time.
Yes, Liv, we're actually going to plug that at the end of the show. We were talking about that. Lisa does have a book, Living in Two Worlds, on Amazon that you can check out. And we're going to plug that at the end of the show. But yes, she does, which sounds very interesting to me, and I believe I'm going to pick it up myself.
Yeah, it wasn't for my mom. It wasn't for her. Yeah.
So I'm just trying to, paint a picture here, I guess, in my mind. So you were having these experiences with the Greys. Now, was it, as a child, basically all the way up to your life? And you said you've even had the experience here recently, where you're at now, where, a lot of people, I've heard people say their experiences with the Greys weren't frightening. They weren't there to hurt them. They were there to be nice. And I'm going to be honest with you. I've heard some opposite things too, as well. And I know this could probably, I don't want to trigger anything at all, Lisa, only you be comfortable with what you feel like talking about. But, how would you consider your experience with them overall?
I found my experience with the Men in Black the worst. They're the inside is terrible.
So after having experience with the Greys, like I said, you did have these markings and stuff that you couldn't really explain. You did have experience. Your next experience, was it with the Men in Black? Was it the Reptilians? What was the next?
I've been seeing the Men in Black ever since my childhood.
So, did you have two gentlemen arrive to your front door and ask to speak to you? Is that one of these kind of situations? What was your first experience with them?
It's very little rusty, but I don't remember exactly a whole lot where they got me, but I remember there's like a field hand in my home. I had experience in the field too, seeing this object. But along my way down to the field, there's a road there. And I believe that's where the Men in Black got me. They picked me up from that road. Because I remember
a rope. So you were.
I didn't put that part in my book, but I remember having memories. Going down the road, feeling really confused, wondering where I was at, who had me, and I had to go home.
So
and I believe that's when they had me. Yeah.
You had an experience to where you were somewhat kind of kidnapped by the Men in Black. Is that what you're saying?
I say four.
Okay. And I mean, do you remember having a conversation with them or them?
I remember they had me somewheres. I was somewheres, and where I was underground, and it was really warm down there because no AC back then. At least they didn't have it. It was really warm down there. It was like during the summer, and I remember it was deep underground, and I remember I had one at each side of me. Excuse me, just one at the side of me. And I was right close to them, like they had a hold of me, and they were taking me down a hall. And I noticed there's other doors there.
And this is when you were a child, correct?
Yes.
So this is what's interesting. And they were dressed in the black, the way people. Okay, this is what's interesting about that. For you guys listening to this, Men in Black didn't become a pop cultural type thing until the 90s, as far as people really talking about it. So people who have had the experiences with them, it's based off just their experiences, where people, because sometimes pop culture can influence what people sometimes remember, see, stuff. This isn't an instant with you, though, because this was way before all that. Which I find interesting as a child, that, this is what you were seeing. So it also kind of, gives a little more, clout to it, in my opinion. But you said it wasn't a pleasure experience at all.
No, but I remember they took me down and little ways. There's other doors there, but they took me into one spot there. It was to the left side. And he took me in. There's another Men in Black in there. And so there's two of them. And I remember the room was dark. And they're quiet at first. They weren't saying much. But I remember he took me in. Then the other guy there, like just like like seeing a doctor's office, they have the examination table there, thing there. And I remember the other one in there, he was wearing sunglasses too. And I thought, why is he wearing sunglasses in the dark? And I think as a child that way. But I remember he picked me up and he sat me on his table. And I remember across from me, they had like a white fold-out table across from me. And then there was this man there. He had a briefcase. He picked it up. He put it on a table. He opened it. And he had like a chart. And he's going through it. And he was saying something I can't remember. And it's like a mumble. I just don't remember what he was saying to the other guy. Then he puts that down, takes the sunglasses off. Both of them take off their jackets. They only had a white shirt. He took the ties off. He just had the white shirt on. And they come over. The guy there says, lie down on the table. And I knew if I lied on that table, I was gone. I'm done for.
And you don't remember how old you were? Around age?
I believe like 4 or 4.5 in there.
Okay. So you were just a little girl.
Yes. And as I lie down, one goes by my feet, one goes by my head, and each one pulls my clothes off. One end takes my pants off. Oh. The other end takes my shirt off. And yeah.
Yeah, so, that's definitely not. Yeah, definitely not a pleasure. Do you remember coming back home, or how you made it back home, or?
Yeah, just like that. Remember I said before, I remember going down along the road there, feeling confused, and so I didn't put that in my book.
Gotcha. Well, understandable.
Because there's some stuff I did not put in my book. But people say put it in new. I said no. If it's not in my first one, I'm not gonna.
Gotcha.
It took me a while. It's actually the first time I mentioned it on the interview. That's that part, I believe, because it's hard to talk about. Absolutely.
Horrible. Yeah. I'll tell you what, Lisa, this is what I want to do. We got to cut to some messages for our sponsor. When we come back, I want to hear about the Reptilian and the Nordic. All right?
Yes.
Guys, we'll be right back with Lisa Savoy.
Have you ever wondered, or maybe just thought to yourself, if there were others just like you? You know, people with extraordinary abilities, psychogenic advancement, and perhaps unique intuitions. Maybe you just wondered if there were other people who experienced unimaginable, unexplained, or even unusual and paranormal events. Are there people who have more questions, more fears than answers? Well, you're not alone. You've never been alone. We believe you. Sign up for EA today.
Business. It's your property. Your assets are worth protecting. Blacklight Investigative and Surveillance Services specializes in patrolling and inspecting residential or commercial property against fire, theft, vandalism, terrorism, and illegal activity. People and buildings are monitored to prevent crime. Keep your property, your people, and your assets safe from threat. Our elite staff are dual licensed private investigators and security guards. Blacklight Investigative and Surveillance Services. Go to blacklightiss.com.
All right, guys, welcome back. If you're just now tuning in, we've been talking to Lisa Savoy, and she's an experiencer, and we're getting ready to talk about some reptilians. This is definitely something that I haven't heard a whole lot of stories about. Like, I hear a lot of story about the Greys, and I mean, I have heard about reptilians, but it's always interesting because I haven't talked to a lot of people who've had that experience. Now, like I said, your experience started out as such a young child with, you know, the Greys and the Men in Black and stuff. But when did the reptilians kind of start happening?
Actually, I seen them when I was in it, when I was in there with the Men in Black. I have seen this that after they locked me down on the table. I remember lying there and I heard and seen something like, you know, the Greys don't make any noise, but the reptilians do. And I remember lying there, and to my left side, there's supposed to be a wall there. It wasn't there anymore. So I looked to the left, and I could see something moving and making a sound. I thought, well, the little people don't do that. They don't make that noise. And I noticed they were taller, and I could see something moving, but they were huge. They were wearing black. All black, like a hooded robe. And I can smell odor. It's quite strong. And I wouldn't say repulsive, like it was, but it's like especially put like something like burnt sweat. And they approached, like 5 of them all together. They approached me, and they were so tall, and there's this huge, like 8-9 feet tall. And they approached. I nosed their face. I go, they're lizards. And like a T-Rex is the best way of putting it. And they had like yellow gold eyes. And they had like brown to bluish greenish hue skin. And they had like lines going from their eyes right down to their nose. And I could see like stripes, we would call it. And even on their hands, they had it as well. And as they approached to me, I didn't know. I was terrified. I didn't know, why do they look like dinosaurs? And like when they move their mouth, I could see their teeth. They had really sharp teeth. It's like looking at a T-Rex. And they had these huge hands with incredibly long nails. It was something out of a nightmare. And I remember a couple went to one side of me, and the others went around the other side of me. And then a couple on this side here. One moved over to where my bee was by my feet. So he moved over, so the reptilian go by my feet. And then one reptilian managed to get by my head. I was terrified. And I felt helpless. And they're making like a mumbling guttural sound. It was weird, kind of creepy. And I couldn't really make what they're saying. And they're huge. And I remember one there by my head brought up his hand, and I could see, he put his hand on my face. I could see the huge claws. And then when his hand got to me, he put his hand down on my face, and I can smell something, and I was knocked out. That's all I remember. It's happened like 5 times.
And you said what was that last part?
It happened to me like 5 times.
5 times. 5 times.
Yeah, they had.
So you've had the experience with the reptilians 5 times.
Yeah.
Ah, and now was this with them? Was this all during your childhood as well?
Yes.
So okay, now what is your take with them as far as, I mean, they don't sound too friendly. They don't look friendly.
No.
They don't look friendly. And you said they actually they spoke.
Mm-hmm. They can speak with their mouth, and they can actually do psychic. They do both. My experience, they do both.
So whenever they spoke, was it like a different type of language you've never heard before?
It's like a mumble. For some reason, I just wasn't hearing them. I don't know why. It's more like a deep, guttural mumbling. Like, it's hard to explain. They really deep, heavy voice, but I just wasn't getting what they're saying. So I don't know if because they were speaking foreign or just didn't want me to hear what they're saying. I'm not sure. They seemed aggressive. Even when they brushed them in the black aside, they stand by my feet and head there. Yeah.
So do you think the men in black were bringing you there for the reptilians?
Yes, it seems that way. Another thing too, wasn't in my book. My son, not that long ago, he was talking about living in Winnipeg. Like, my son had a habit. Sometimes he'd get out of bed. He would go downstairs. Like, he'd put a game on or just get something to drink, whatever. And he told me, at first I thought he meant he was seeing him from his bedroom. He goes, no, Mom, I was seeing him downstairs when I was downstairs, right? He was telling me that. And he remembers men in black coming into our home and going upstairs to take me out.
He remembers this. So
yeah.
This has happened as an adult.
Yeah, this is in Winnipeg.
So the men in black had came there to take you from your house.
Yes.
As an adult. And now how old was he when this?
He was I think it starts since he was in kindergarten that he never seen that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's only young. And I remember I was terrified. He'd come in my room in the morning. He goes, Mom, I seen men in black suits going up the stairs to take you. And he described them in full detail, what they looked like. Even in winter, like, they would wear these long black trench coats during the winter, right? And he explained that. And I thought, oh my God.
And these are memory. I mean, and this is stuff that you knew that was going on. You just weren't saying anything to him about it.
No.
Wow. So I mean,
like
when this
he was
happened,
dreaming. I said, "You're dreaming." I was lying to him. I didn't want to frighten. I said, "Jordy, you're dreaming," and he'd go on his bed just crying so hard, just crying so hard.
wow.
I was afraid to tell him the truth because Daddy wasn't home. Like he'd go quite a bit. Like he went away 6 months for quite a bit, and sometimes be out in field exercise like for weeks. So he wasn't there. They just did whatever.
So what do you think? I mean, what do they want? What are they wanting with you? What is going on?
I wish I could tell you. I don't know. I have ideas, but I really don't know. I can't really say. Like, why has this happened to me? I don't know.
Do you think it's just, I mean, they maybe identify certain people who are sensitive to them or to the experience? Or, I mean, I've always wondered what makes experiencers so special. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. But I just don't know. It's a mystery to me. I just don't know why.
And this is, I mean, this even continues on to this day based on your experiences.
Yeah. Well, I know I have the odd black helicopter fly over. Last one I've seen was the Chinook. See, other experiencers have experienced the same thing, but the thing that throws me off, people say they can see the pilots. Mine, you can't even see the window. The windows are pitch black. You cannot. I mean, these things are down low. I mean, very low during the day, and you cannot see to them in the windows. I couldn't tell you who's piloting it. You can't see. They're black as night. And I go, why is it people? How come I can't see mine? Other people say they can. It's just weird.
So you are having the black helicopters flying around your house. Mm-hmm. Is that happening today, like now?
Last time I had one was a week after my interview. So I've been carrying around my camera lately. They're known to come up once in a while after I do an interview.
So it usually pops up when you went public.
And I go outside. I have my camera.
Now, what about the men in black?
I have waken up during the night and I find them in my room.
So do you think it's almost like I mean, they're not like normal people. They're like some type of entity, being of themselves, some type of interdimensional people too, the men in black?
To me, mine are human. I'm aware of that. Some are Russian, some are German, some are Chinese, some are Canadian, American.
Do you think it could be some type of hybrid between human / other type of being hybrid?
I don't know. All I know is they're evil people. That's all
I tell you, Live Light has another question popped up here for us. She says, do you think Angie the Nordic is, I always screw this up, Palladian?
Yeah.
Is she your guardian? Can you describe her craft? And we're getting right into the Nordic topic, so which I hadn't actually got into yet. First of all, so is Angie the Nordic, is that something special to you?
Okay, well, be honest, I never heard of Palladians. I never knew any of them Palladians till my Sea for Regressions is in Toronto. 24-hour drive for me. So, I just take a train or bus down there. And I was telling her about I told her the whole thing, and then she hypnotized me. It was no different than I told her. But she's telling me, like, she goes, it sounds like you were seeing a Palladian, like she's Palladian, right? And I go, I never heard that before. So later that day when I got back home, I was curious. Okay, why is she saying she looks like a Palladian, way she's dressed and everything? So I went on the computer and I could not believe what I was looking at. I said, "Oh my God!" Just now, the blue uniform, not V opening and the collar of her neck there. It's just matched what I seen. The white long hair, the blue-green eyes, the pale skin. I was shocked how she resembled what people were seeing.
Now, aren't those the ones that resemble us the most, correct?
Only thing with Angie, her eyes are a little bit longer than ours. Not much, but a little longer and a little wider than ours. Yeah.
So when was your first experience with them?
I was 4.5. It was not too long after I seen the Reptilians.
Wow. So as a young child, you had literally you were having all these experiences from all these different types of beings.
Yeah.
At a very, at a very young age. And did the experience with them continue on as well, with the others?
Yeah, it's mostly psychic, but I can feel their presence. I've been feeling their presence a lot lately. And
so what was that first experience like with
Angie? I remember I was in bed and I had the window. My mom likes to change her room once in a while. And the first encounter I had with her, instead of facing the wall, I was facing towards the window. And I woke up. Then I heard something knocking on the window, rapping on my window. And I looked at the window. I could see her outside. And next thing I know, she just steps right in, just walks right through the window on the wall. It didn't turn dark or anything. She just walked right through it. And I thought, it didn't scare me because, I just used to seeing stuff that was unusual. And she comes over to me. She starts talking to me. I remember, I thought she's kind of pretty. She had long white hair. Her skin was so pale. Pale. She went in the sun. She would just burn, right? And she had, in the dark, her eyes just looked blue to me. I didn't realize they were blue-green after I went in her ship, but they looked blue to me. And she knew my name. And she's wearing a blue flight suit. It's shiny blue. She knew my name. She knew everything about me. And I thought, how does she know my name? How does she know what's going on with me? Then she sits on my bed and starts talking with me, about how I was feeling. And she knew what was going on with me. Everything. She knew everything. The Greys, the Men in Black, the Reptilians. She knew everything. And I thought, how does she know all this? And then she finished talking to me. She goes, she says, I want to show you something. And I thought, what she wants to show me? So she gets up. She, invites me to go over with her. She wasn't forcing me anything, It's a choice I made to go with her. She had a really nice personality. She seemed really friendly. I just got nothing but good vibes from her. So I trusted her. I get up and she's ahead of me. She goes outside the same way she came in. And I thought, okay. So I get as far as stepping into the wall. And I look down. I can see her floating down to the ground. But I was afraid. I was terrified. I didn't want to. I didn't want to go down. And she says, Lisa, she said, it's okay. She says, you can come down. You're safe. She says, you won't fall. You won't get hurt. So she taught me to going down. So I went down. It's the same, it was a lot more gentler, but I can feel the force going around me and through me, but it was a lot gentler. I still can move my arms and my legs, no problem. So I floated down with her. And I'll stand by her, and I know she's looking over to the right, and I thought, what's she looking at? There's nothing there. What's she looking at on the right side? And I saw, heck, maybe there's something here. So I started to run towards the right direction, but she grabbed a hold of me. By my hand there. She grabbed a hold of me. So I thought, okay. So we started walking slowly to the right side. And as we got closer, I thought, what is that? I can see something starting to show. It's this way to describe, it's like a blurry reflection starting to show, like a fuzzy, blurry thing. As he got closer, I can see it's like in the shape of a triangle. And she had me hold my hand out. She says, approach slowly, and I walk to it. Then I can see it. I can see my reflection in it. And I put my hand on it. It's like a lukewarm feeling. It was very smooth. Like it's a smooth metal. It's like looking into a mirror and you got close to it. And it was interesting because it's like a triangle. It's basically for two people, like for her and me to sit in. And it's a small triangle. And I noticed on top of the triangle, it was just like a smaller triangle on the back of it, handed back there. And it's floating off the ground. I could tell there's no landing gear, so I was curious. I looked underneath it, and there's no landing gear. And I thought, okay, how come this is floating? So, and I noticed there's a piece underneath it. Like I asked her if I can go underneath it, so she gave me permission to go underneath it. And I can see a piece. This would describe it something like a teardrop or a raindrop, but it was shaped as in the middle of the ship. And it's just like this other ship. It was really smooth metal. Yeah, it was really neat.
So do you think these beings are extraterrestrial, interdimensional? What is kind of your take on that? Some people even believe that I've heard people say angels, demons. I've heard everything. What's your take?
I believe she's from a different world. Like I learned from the Greys, they're like far away. I mean, space is so huge. Like it's so huge. I learned as a child from the Greys.
Unimaginable big.
Yeah. And I believe she was from a different world.
And I've never heard anyone say anything bad about the Nordic experience.
No, but she appeared a little, I don't know if I ever said it before. I don't think it was in my book. She appeared a little militaristic, if you know what I mean. Like
Maybe a little
she had this
stern.
really awesome spaceship she knew how to fly. But anyways, she had to look at it. And I remember I went in front of it and I could still see the sharp point in front of it, like a triangle. It's not like a wide triangle. You see, it's more like a wedge. And it had a really pointed front. And I remember touching it. I thought, oh wow, it's so pointed. And I looked up at the top of it there, where you sit, and I thought, there's no windows. Where's the windows? And I thought, how's she seen this thing? So anyway, she took me by my hand and she brought me down to the end of the ship. This one, it gets really interesting. We literally floated off the ground onto the top of our ship. And I thought, how do you get in this thing? There's no door. So I looked down. When you drop a rock into water, how it does like a circle. This did the same thing, but it opened up. You can see like it's really bright white in there, like really white. And it's the coolest thing. She let me go in first. When I first went in there, I sat at the wrong end. She goes, no, you go over to the right. So I went down to the right. And she went down to the left side. And she sat there. I never the seat slid forward a bit. And after we got in, and I looked up and I thought, oh wow, I can see outside. I can see the houses across from us, across the street from my home. And I thought, oh cool. And I thought, okay, you can't see the windows on the outside, but you can see outside or you're inside. And I remember it was all white, except for one piece there, like the arm, like where you can rest your arm on the seat there. Just like a long, not that wide piece, right, where you put your arm on, like a medium gray color. I didn't know what it was at first at that time, what it was for. And I know it's like something like a spear, like a ball.
So there was no windows or anything inside the craft. It was very kind of plain.
I had no controls in it. Like I had, like you see in the airplane, it didn't have the wheel or anything. It's just nothing. Like that piece there, I didn't know at the time. I can use that to move the airship.
Well, I'll tell you what. First of all, these have been. I love hearing these kind of stories, and also I'm super impressed, absolutely, with the detail also that you have, Lisa. Mm-hmm. We don't. It's not every day that we hear anything about. At least I don't about the Nordic. People talk about their experiences with that. Now, like I said, we did talk a little off air about a book, and Liv did mention it because we're getting ready to wrap up here. But I would like you to get a chance to plug your book on Amazon if you want to pick it up. What's the name of the book? And, how can we pick it up?
Yeah. Like my atomic book is Living in Two Worlds, a true account of alien encounters. Make sure you type in the whole thing. A lot of people just put in Living in Two Worlds. You're not going to find it. Make sure you put in Living in Two Worlds, a true account of alien encounters, and you'll find it.
Awesome. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm probably going to I am going to pick that book up myself. Guys, thank you, Liv, with your questions today. Like I said, and this has been very interesting conversation, very interesting topic, other than just the Greys. Usually that's all we hear, but we've got to hear about the Nordics and the Reptilians and the Men in Black and stuff. This has been a great conversation. Lisa, thank you so much for coming on to Beyond the Tinfoil Hat. You have been great.
Thank you. And thank you for having me on. And if you want me back on again in the future, I will be, because I still got a lot more to say.
Absolutely. We would love to have you back.
Okay.
All right, guys, that's this episode of Beyond the Tinfoil Hat. If you guys have not done so yet, be sure to like and subscribe to the podcast. You can check us out anywhere you listen to music, anywhere you listen to podcasts. Be sure to give us a check out. Tell your friends all about us. Also, big shout out, check out Lisa's book on Amazon. Okay, you definitely want to check that out. Get over to the experiencersupport.org and check out Alex's article. It's a brand new article on Sasquatch. You definitely want to check that out. Also, check out Ryan Stacy's podcast every Monday at 5 p.m., streaming live on YouTube. You want to check that out. Guys, this has been a very fun episode. Very interesting stuff. Lisa is a viewer. She pops in every week, watches the show, big supporter, and she's got amazing stories to check out. So if you guys definitely check out her book on Amazon, go back and listen to it, and you have to type everything in. So be sure to go back and check that out. Also, if you guys would like to learn more about your boy, Danny Whitson, yes, I am a professional comedian magician. You can give me a follow at Super Magic Boy on Instagram, or give me a like and a follow at Danny Whitson Magic and Comedy on Facebook. I would love to see some people from the podcast to pop on there as followers. But I got to say this. We have been broadcasting live from the E-United Public Radio Network, the UFO Paranormal Radio Network, on 105.3 FM and on the Gulf Coast, and 107.7 New Orleans. All right. And like always, paranormal junkies, I'll see you next time, and keep the paranormal normal. Peace. All right. That does it for this episode of Beyond the Tinfoil Hat. A big shout out for tonight's awesome guest, and a bigger shout out for everyone who tuned in. And if you haven't done so yet, be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube or wherever it is you listen to your podcasts. And like always, be sure to stay curious, heed the world, and keep the paranormal normal. I'm your host, Danny Whitson, and this has been Beyond the Tinfoil Hat.